Alrighty guys, I hope you guys are having a great and wonderful day today. You know, in today's video, first and foremost, I'm so glad I found my real, professionally faceted piece of Moldavite that I acquired, basically, I think even before the end of the end of last year, I basically had this piece. And because as of right now, guys, I'm really specifically being led to work with faceted pieces of Moldavite, polished and tumbled pieces of Moldavite. And as you guys saw in my previous video, you know that I basically polished, tumbled, faceted, whatever you want to call it. I basically did that to this piece of Moldavite, and now it's extremely smooth. If I hold it up to the sunlight or just to the light, it is very translucent, right? It is very you could basically see right through this thing, and it's amazing, right? It's amazing, and I love the energy that I've been feeling from it as well. Personally, in my experience, now that I'm working with this smooth piece of Moldavite, it has increased not necessarily my frequency, although it still does, but since I'm already adjusted to the energy, going from that transition of museum piece of Moldavite into this hand, basically I did this all by hand, into this faceted or tumbled piece of Moldavite. What has really changed since I've been using now this piece is the people that I connect with. Okay, now I noticed this the other day when I was walking. I was at the park. I was just absorbing in the sun's energy and just taking time to spend time with God. I literally first time I went without this piece, right, of Moldavite. I just kind of wanted to see if I noticed anything different. And so I went to the park, and I was starting to attract people in my life that really represented an old part of who I was. And I was kind of, I became aware of it, of course, but, I also wanted to do a test, okay? And so afterwards, I went back to the same park, I grabbed my piece of Moldavite, and none of them could come near me, right? None of them were basically being attracted to the energy that I had before. It was like my energy basically elevated, my frequency elevated to a higher level, and I was no longer attracting those people into my life. And, they weren't taking my energy as well, because that's something that I've noticed with Moldavite, as I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen in videos or read about, that when you really work with Moldavite, it's really challenging for people and negative entities, so to speak, to cling onto your aura or cling onto your energy. And for me, this is very beneficial, since I am an empath, so to speak, meaning that I'm very sensitive to other people's energies. So when I wear Moldavite, it's easier for me to be around people and to literally repel or attract the right people into my life that are on that same frequency that I'm searching for. And so that's something that I definitely noticed a lot now since I've been wearing this piece, since it's gone through that transition, to really see if there's anything different. But it's really kind of stayed the same, meaning that I still attract the right people into my life, and I dispel or repel people who really aren't on that frequency, or the frequency that I'm carrying now with this piece of Moldavite. But jumping into a real faceted piece of Moldavite, right, like super extremely professionally faceted, right? And I actually found this through spirit. I was guided by the Holy Spirit. I was praying about it. I'm like, God, just help me find this. It's a really beautiful piece when you take a closer look at it. It's cut extremely well. I'm going to actually show you guys here in a bit with the magnifying loupe. But I'm really glad I found it. Like I said, this was actually when I was at the park. It just disappeared out of my pocket. But I found it later on in my car. So I'm pretty sure it just, kind of fell out, or I wasn't ready for it at that time to really start working with it. Because when I got it at the end of last year, I was really just wanting a piece of faceted Moldavite and to see if there was any real differences. And so, working with this piece, this piece is like 7 millimeters big, basically. And let me see if you guys can see it. There we go. So it's 7 millimeters. And so, there you go. And so basically, guys, I wanted to get this piece because I wanted to see if there was any difference, even in the size and the power and just everything about it. And, the first thing that I noticed is that even though this little piece is extremely small, I felt the energy even more so than my piece of Besset Nice Moldavite, right? And I remember just holding this tiny little piece and I was like, oh my gosh, like I feel this energy, like this is intense, like this is like a new level almost of Moldavite. And so as I'm looking at it, and the way that it's cut and it's shaped, obviously the shape that if you guys decide to get a faceted piece of Moldavite or to facet your Moldavite, the shape definitely does make a difference in how the energy is received and also transmuted. And so, when I compare these two pieces, this is basically a tumbled piece of Moldavite, when I really look at it, and it's, it hasn't been, professionally cut, but I feel like it's a cleaner energy, right? It's more because I have, taken away all the rough edges and just everything about it. It is a cleaner, smoother energy. But when I compare it to a real, like, faceted piece of Moldavite, it's all about quality, right? I feel like the energy has changed, from working with like raw to museum to Besset Nice to tumbled to faceted Moldavite. It's just like, buying a car, right? Or, just, sometimes when you buy a car, or what would be something really, or fruits, right? Maybe food, right? Like, if you start buying, I don't know, frozen foods, right? You notice that it kind of like wears and it's heavy on your energy, but the more that you move up, right, then you start buying, healthier foods. Then like you start buying grapes and you start buying oranges and you start buying apples. You just start moving up that food chain, so to speak. Like you start buying healthier foods. You just feel better when you use that. And that's just been my personal experience. I'm not saying that raw Moldavite is bad by any means. By all means, any kind of Moldavite that's real and authentic is good for you anyways because it raises your frequency. But that's just been my personal experience that the higher I move in quality of Moldavite, the better quality of energy I get from them as well. And that's just been my personal experience. It may be different for you or it may be the same. And so I definitely encourage you guys to try that out, to experiment for yourselves. If you guys notice that energy that differentiates itself from, raw Moldavite to museum to Besset Nice to, tumbled to faceted, or even, I honestly believe that even carved pieces of Moldavite have a different frequency and energy to them. And that might be, something I look into later on. But there's so many different ways that, this Moldavite energy can be, manipulated in a good way, of course, so that it can benefit you. It can be tailored to you if you know how to work with it correctly. And so I did want to share that with you guys. And it's funny enough because, like I said, this year I'm working more so with faceted and tumbled pieces of Moldavite. And, I don't know how many of you here have actually worked with Kundalini energy or just, sexual energy, so to speak, basically moving it throughout your chakras, moving it throughout your system. And for me personally, guys, that's something that is really my target this year, so to speak, meaning that I'm raising my Kundalini energy. And that's actually what I have been working on now for a while. And it is intense, guys, because there's so much that goes into it because I'm not doing it all at once. I'm doing it in increment steps. And so as I'm working with these pieces of Moldavite, it's bringing a lot of just stuff, just things from not necessarily from my past anymore. It's taken me to a new level that I've never been. And it's challenging. It's painful. It's, it's hard work. There's a lot that I deal with, a lot of internal pressure, just building up inside my head, because I need to learn how to basically transmute now my sexual energy all throughout my body. Because now it's just accumulating inside my head. And I'm sure many of you have maybe watched videos of the microscopic or micro orbit. I forgot what it was called, but it's basically like this orbit where you're like meditating and you're transmuting your sexual energy just all around your body. But I feel like that's not what I'm resonating with right now. That's something it's old. I feel like that information is old now, and I'm finding new ways to transmute my sexual energy in a new way that I'm being guided by through God and through the use of Moldavite. It just doesn't resonate with me. The information that's out there right now about transmuting sexual energy, it just doesn't resonate with me. There's just something, I know that there's something new on how to do that, but that's basically why right now, guys, I'm kind of just doing this with divine appointments, because it is a lot. I don't know if you guys have actually gone through this experience where you're now cultivating your sexual energy, but using it now for your purpose instead of just, sexual urges or for, fleshly desires. Now it's for a real higher purpose. And as you're building up that sexual energy within you and finding new ways to basically transmute it all around your body and into your purpose, there's a lot that comes up. And I guess I just want to share that with you guys. If that's something you guys are doing or plan on doing or maybe have done, that's just where I'm at in my journey. And that's why, like I said, I'm doing this by divine appointments. It gets really challenging, guys, but I'm pushing through with God's help, with God's, grace. It's the only thing that's really keeping me going right now is His power to basically sustain me so that I don't give up. So I really just wanted to share that with you guys. I think it's very interesting to see how the journey with Moldavite, and as it also changes, take a look at your own life. What does your piece of Moldavite reflect to you right now? How much have you changed? How much have you grown in your journey? Have you been putting in the work, right? Have you, been reading books? Have you been going maybe to seminars? Have you been taking the time to really maybe change your mindset, to let go of things that, that are being brought up as you use this wonderful tool that we have been given, right? What are you guys doing in your life to become a better version of yourself, to make sure you're walking in love, to make sure you're letting go of things that no longer serve you? And so I really just wanted to share that with you guys. That's where I'm at on my journey. And yeah, just stay tuned for, our next divine appointments. Bigger pieces of Moldavite should be coming in soon with the next Mineral Gem Show, I believe, coming up in April. And I think there's another one coming up in September. So yeah, let's just pray, meditate, whatever it is that you guys do. I like to pray and meditate. And so let's hope for the best, that beautiful and big pieces of Moldavite come in the next April Mineral and Gem Show here in Colorado. That way I can get some bigger exclusive pieces to you guys. And that way we can keep moving forward on this journey. So thank you guys so much for watching. This video was a little bit longer than expected, and if you stay to the end of this video, give this video a big thumbs up, because you guys are awesome. You guys are great. You're here for the right reasons. You're here to know your purpose, grow, become the best version of yourself, and I know you guys will do it if you guys keep watching these videos. Take what you guys learn from here and apply it in your own life, and great things will happen. So thank you guys so much for watching. I send you guys so much love, and I will talk to you guys very, very soon. See ya.